ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप गदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are still in Purushottam month. It's going to end only on August 16th. So in Purushottam month, it's very important and it's very auspicious to worship Radha Krishna. That's why we focus on be it bhajans, be it aarti, be it whatever, we focus on worshipping Radha Krishna, who is together, who are together. Okay, so that's why we worship Vrindavan Krishna during Purushottam month. And there is one such bhajan, um, very, very beautiful, very famous, all of you know. We've done this. Radha Krishna Prana Mura Jugala Kishora Radha Krishna Prana Mura Jugala Kishora Jivani Marangi Gati Darunai Mura Radha Krishna Prana Mura Jugala Kishore कालिंदेर कोले केली कदंबेरा वाना कालिंदेर कोले केली कदंबेरा वाना रतना बेडीरा परा सबोदु जाना रतना बेडीरा परा सबोदु जाना श्याम गौरी दिवो चंदनेर गंधा श्याम गौरी दिवो चंदनेर गंधा श्यामरा धुलाबो खबे मुख चंद्रा श्यामरा धुलाबो खबे हेरि मुख चंद्रा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोरा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोरा गतिया मलते मला विबोधहरा गले गतिया मलते मला विबोधहरा गले आधरे तुलिया दिवो कर्पूरा तंबूले आधरा तुलिया दिवो कर्पूरा तंबूले राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोरा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोरा Lalita Vishakadi Jata Sakhi Vrinda. Lalita Vishakadi Jata Sakhi Vrinda. Agnaya Koribo Seva Charanaravida. Agnaya Koribo Seva Charanaravida. Radha Krishna Pranamura Jugala Kishora Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasaranudansa Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasaranudansa Seva Bhilasha Kore Narottam Dasa Sevabhilasha Kure Narottam Dasa Radha Krishna Pranamura Jugala Kishora Radha Krishna Pranamura Jugala Kishora Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Does anybody want to read the translation? You can start reading. Unmute and read. Anybody?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Translation. The divine couple, Shri Shri Radha and Krishna, are my life and soul. In life or death, I have no other refuge but them. In a forest of small kadamba trees on the bank of the Yamuna, I will seat the divine couple on a throne made of brilliant jewels. I will anoint their dark and fair forms with sandalwood paste scented with kaya, and I will fan them with a kamara whisk. Oh, when will I behold their moon-like faces? After stringing together garlands of malati flowers, I will place them around their necks, and I will offer tambula scented with camphor to their lotus mouths. With the permission of all the Sakis, headed by Lalita and Vishaka, I will serve the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Narottama Dasa, the servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, longs for this service to the divine couple. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, so this song is all about longingness, right? How much we want to serve Radha Krishna. Each of us know whether we are elevated devotees or junior devotees or neophyte devotees. Everybody, we have a kind of particular plan in our mind, right? I want to serve Radha Krishna this way, that way. I want to offer this, I want to offer that, right? So, but rarely we get a chance to do it, right? It's he who is supposed to decide. It's he who is supposed to sanction. Then only we can serve him the way you want, right? So, anukulena Krishna anushilana, right? We need to offer devotional service the way Krishna wants. So, all of us long for it, and that longingness, no, it's very sweet. The wait for to offer Radha Krishna seva to Radha Krishna might be very long, but that long wait is very sweet because Krishna is all attractive. On that note, we can begin the session today. So in last class we learned about which Goswami? Who can tell me? Yes, we covered which Goswami in the last class. You can put your answers in the chat as well. Name of the Goswami? Yeah, I got an answer in the chat. Haribol. Yes, Jiva Goswami. Right? And how is Jiva Goswami related to Sanatan Goswami and Rupa Goswami? Yes, how? How is Jiva Goswami related to Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami? Yeah, brothers, son. Yes. So Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami's brother Anupama's son is Jiva Goswami. Alright, so Jiva Goswami is nephew to Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. The next we will be learning about the next Goswami, that is Gopal Bhat Goswami. He is going to be the fourth Goswami. Alright, so far we covered, how many Goswamis did we cover so far? Who can tell me? Yes, Jyoti
Three,
Mataji.
Mataji.
3, yes. Who are they?
The first one I missed out. Last week it was Jiva Goswami.
So first two you missed out. So we learned about Rupa Goswami,
San-
then we learned about Sanatan Goswami, and then we learned
Rupa
about
Goswami.
Jiva Goswami. Yes. Okay, so today we will be learning about Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So Gopal Bhatt Goswami, a very famous story, very famous Goswami because of Radha Raman. Okay, he is known by Radha Raman. The deity that we have in Vrindavan, Radha Raman. Radha Raman appeared because of Gopal Goswami's cry. All right, so that's how Gopal Bhatt Goswami has become very famous because of Radha Raman. All right, so we learn the information about Gopal Bhatt Goswami is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 10th chapter. All right, 10th chapter. If you go through, we will be learning a lot about Gopal Bhatt Goswami there. So Gopal Bhatt Goswami is a South Indian Brahmana. Okay, unlike the other Goswamis, Gopal Bhatt Goswami belongs to Sri Sampradaya. Okay, so Gopal Bhatt Goswami is already a Brahmana, and he belongs to Sri Sampradaya. All right, and his father's name is Venkata Bhatta, and he lives in Sri Rangam. Okay, Tamil Nadu. So he used to live with his parents in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so they follow Sri Sampradaya, that is headed by Ramanujacharya. Even today, if you go to Sri Rangam, you can see the transcendental body of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya has been almost, even before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came Ramanujacharya. All right, he came after Madhvacharya, and his body is being preserved, and his body is just like us. It's not decayed. All right, it's very fresh. If you go to Sri Rangam, you'll be able to see Ramanujacharya's body, which is being preserved. So there is a mandir, Ramanujacharya mandir, and they follow Sri Sampradaya. And so what do you say? That's why we say Acharya's body is always transcendental. It doesn't subject. It's not subject to any decay. All right. And yeah, scientists are still breaking their heads. How is this possible? So that's why any questions, all the questions, one answer, Srimad Bhagavatam, Guru Shastra, Sadhu, right? So always, all questions, we need to find answers from the Shastras. Okay, not through speculation or hypothetical analysis, experimentation. How many experimentations can we conduct, right? And how well are we going to perceive the truth, right? Our senses are imperfect, right? Our senses are imperfect. We cannot see everything. We cannot hear everything. We can hear from 20,000 hertz, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. That's the audible frequency of humans, right? Anything beyond that or below, beyond that, we cannot hear, right? So we cannot go by our senses. We need to go by acharyas who've already seen the truth. All right. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami, so in the year 1433 AD, AD 1511, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring South India, He stayed for 4 months during the period of Chaturmasya at the house of Venkata Bhatta. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went on a tour to South India, all right. And what happened? Chaturmasya came. Chaturmasya is the 4 seasons. Chatur is 4, right? So Masya is the month, right? 4 months. 4 months that come in the rainy season. We are not supposed to go out and travel during this time. Chaturmasya is meant for anybody, even sannyasis who keep traveling. They are also meant to stay in one particular place. So sannyasis take shelter of a grihastha or brahmana's family, and they stay in one place. All right, because new growth will be happening during Chaturmasya. It's rainy season, right? So flowers will be blossoming. All the seeds will be germinating, forests will be developing, right? And insects will be, growing, wildlife, flora and fauna, both wildlife and so basically biodiversity. It takes form during this Chaturmasya period, and we humans, while traveling, we actually disturb the nature. All right, we actually disturb the growth or the development that is happening. That's why we are not supposed to travel, and rather we sit in one place and offer devotional service to the Lord. And also Chaturmasya, we have a lot of fasting to be done, right? We don't consume a particular dish for 1 month. Although it's not recommended, I mean, if you want, you can do it. But mostly in Chaturmasya, we need to chant a lot. Okay, that is the only way we can offer devotional service to the Lord. So it was Chaturmasya, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took shelter or stayed in Venkata Bhatta's house. Venkata Bhatta is Gopal Bhat Goswami's father. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying in their house, Gopal Bhat Goswami was a small boy. Okay, he was still a small boy, and he got an opportunity at an early age. He got an opportunity to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 4 months. Can you imagine? So similar thing happened in the Shastras. Can anybody tell me? Similar thing, Chaturmasya, some great devotee got an opportunity to serve Vaishnavas during Chaturmasya. Who is that?
Narada Muni,
Haribol. Yes, Vanaja Mataji. Narada Muni. Right? So Narada Muni also happened to serve the Vaishnavas who stayed in his own town for 4 months during Chaturmasya. All right. And after serving, what did he get? He got Krishna. He became Narada Muni, right? So Narada Muni's previous life, he was a small boy and he served these Vaishnavas during Chaturmasya. Because of serving and tasting the remnants of the prasadam that these Vaishnavas had, what happened? These Vaishnavas initiated the small boy, and then he engaged himself in devotion service. And after he gave up his life in that janma, next he became eternally, devotee of the Lord. He became Narada Muni. So that's how Narada Muni became Narada Muni. All right. So that is the power of serving Vaishnavas during Chaturmasya. Very important. We need to do Vani Seva. We need to preach a lot. Anybody, anything, in any way, your own small way you can preach, right? You can give prasadam to a person, maybe your friend. Just give them prasadam and say, Hare Krishna, this is prasadam for you, right? That is also preaching, right? Preaching is what? Spreading the glories of the Lord. Spreading is called preaching. Preaching is not technically sitting and taking classes alone is preaching. No. Okay. So Srila Gopal Bhat Goswami was later initiated by his uncle, a great sannyasa, Prabodhananda Saraswati. So Prabodhananda Saraswati is a very important character in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Why? He is one of the Sakhis, one of the Ashta Sakhis in Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan, right? He is Tunga Vidya Gopi. Okay, so Tunga Vidya Gopi, she has come in the form of Prabodhananda Saraswati in Chaitanya Leela. Very important person. So he is the one who initiates Gopal Bhat Goswami. So Gopal Bhat Goswami thought how, so this bhajan that we just saw, no, it's about longingness, right? We all have certain plans in our mind. We want to execute it, right? The same thing is happening with Gopal Bhat Goswami also. Once he desired, intensely he desired. What did he desire? He wanted, he thought, how wonderful would it be to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all his associates. That's all his desire was. He wanted to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all his associates and see what he got. Such an adorable sight he got. as a sannyasi, he's alone with with one assistant. So when he came for the South Indian tour, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came just with one assistant. Okay, he did not get all his associates. That's why that longingness, craving feeling came for Gopal Bhat Goswami to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all his associates. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, right? He knows what is happening, who is thinking about him, what, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his real form to Gopal Bhat Goswami. What form did he reveal? His real form is Krishna, right? So he revealed Krishna sitting with his Gopa boyfriends, cowherd boyfriends. So he revealed that form. He showed that form to Gopal Bhat Goswami. And Gopal Bhat Goswami immediately fell down. He offered Dhanvat Pranam to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was no longer there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has transformed himself into Krishna. And when he wanted to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is able to see Krishna. This is another evidence to prove that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself. Right? So desire, intensity of desire matters. All right. So Krishna reveals himself as long as our desires are intense and pure, without any desire for ourselves, our sense gratification in it. All right. So both the father and mother of Gopal Bhat Goswami were extremely fortunate, for they dedicated their entire lives to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How lucky, right? So they allowed Gopal Bhat Goswami to go to Vrindavan, and they gave up their lives thinking of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the ideal duty of parents. When parents are old and when they have children, when they have brought them up in Krishna conscious way, the last instruction every parent should give to their children is, until your last breath, serve the Lord, right? And here they are showing by example. So when Gopal Bhat Goswami's parents gave their bodies, they before giving up their bodies, they said, go to Vrindavan, join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, serve him, right? Follow his orders, become his servitor, right? This is what they said to him, and then they gave up their bodies, right? And Gopal Bhat Goswami is so lucky, because today, in our generation, if you sit and chant Hare Krishna, there are a lot of parents who come and question. In kids class, usually this happens. When the not exactly kids, but teenagers in youth class, this happens. When those teenagers sit and chant Hare Krishna, parents come and ask them, why are you doing this? You need to focus on something that helps you in your professional life. Okay, you need to focus on something that helps you in your investments. Learn about share market. Learn about the technological skills that we have, artificial intelligence, data science, right? Do not chant Hare Krishna, it's waste of time. I have heard a lot of devotees coming and telling me, this is the situation at home and how do I handle, what do I do? So the only way out is, do not let them know that you are chanting. That's what I tell them, right? So that is not the duty of parents. As parents, our duty is to make sure the children do not come back to this material world as another person's children. That is the main duty of parents. And then there's a beautiful pastime. So after that, Gopal Bhat Goswami goes to Vrindavan and serves the Goswamis there and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission there, and he settles there. So when he settles there, what happens? He every day he goes and takes bath in the river, right? So what happened? That day also he went to Gandaki river and he dipped. Okay, when he was dipping, when he was inside the river underwater, he found 12 Shaligrama Shilas. All right, 12 Shaligrama Shilas came to his hand. He took them. And then initially he saw them, he was like, oh, what are these? Maybe accidentally I got it, and he left it off in the river. All right. And usually we take repetitively, we take dips, right? We don't just dip once and come out. So when he dipped, he again got the Shaligrama Shilas, same number, 12. And then he again thought, okay, why am I again taking it? It's not mine. Let me leave it. He left it inside the river. Again, one last time, the final time when he got inside the water, he again got them in his hands. And then he understood, okay, this is, this means these Shaligrama Shilas want to be with me, I need to offer them service. That's why they're not letting me go. So then he takes them and goes to his place. And place as in what? Goswami's place is under a tree, all right? So he keeps them there, sets them up, and then starts offering them puja. Okay. While offering puja, he always gets this thing in his mind. Okay. All the other Goswamis, he just turns around. All the other Goswamis has pretty deities, Krishna deities. Like last class we saw Sanatan Goswami used to worship Radha Madan Mohan deity, right? Jiva Goswami, again, see all these Goswamis and Rupa Goswami, Radha Govinda Dev deity, right? So they all have deities and he only has Shaligrama Shilas, right? So he always used to think, I don't have, I cannot bathe these deities, the deity. I mean, I cannot dress them up. I cannot give them nice jewelry and decorate them. I cannot worship them the way other Goswamis are doing because it is not in deity form. Shaligrama is, again, it's Vishnu's representation only, but it's not in deity form, right? So he used to long, crave, hanker, right? I want to serve in, the deity form of the Lord, right? Not the Shila form of the Lord. So during that time, what happened? A rich merchant came. All right, he's a Vaishya merchant, came with a lot of jewelry and all. So basically, he's a devotee. Okay, he came to give jewelry to all the deities there in Vrindavan. So he goes and gives all the deities jewelry, and then he comes to Gopal Bhat Goswami also, and he says, "What jewelry do you want?" And then he sees they are Shaligrama Shilas, right? We cannot put jewelry; it's not in deity form. How will you decorate them? So then the merchant says, "Oh, okay, Shilas you have. I cannot give you any jewelry." And then he goes, and then Gopal Bhat Goswami starts crying, starts weeping so badly that he entire that day night he goes to sleep. Entire night he weeps and weeps and sleeps, begging Krishna, offering begging Krishna, asking Krishna to give him an opportunity to serve the deity form of the Lord. All right, and then he sleeps in that mood. All right, and then he gets up. Next morning when he wakes up, what happens? What happens? He sees, Shaligrama Shilas are 12 in number, right? He got 12 Shilas. One Shila out of that is a big one, right? One big Shila out of those 12 Shilas had turned into the deity that you're seeing in the picture, right? Raman. Okay, so Radha Raman, it's Swayambhu. Okay, it's nobody carved the deity. The deity just appeared. Okay, it's just Udbhav. Okay, the deity just came from the biggest Shaligrama Shila out of those 12 Shilas that he had. All right, so 12-inch deity, very cute, the cutest deity in this world, in this material world, the cutest deity because nobody carved him. He just came by himself, right? So he knows how cute the form is, right? When we carve, we are all human beings. Definitely, we will not be able to bring out the beauty that Krishna has. But this, the beauty is overloaded because he himself came, right? So this is called Radha Raman, one of the 7 principles deity in Vrindavan. Radha Raman is one of them. All right, and he does not hold flute in his hand. You can see in this, his hands are empty, right? This is the only deity, only form of Krishna where he is holding his posture is as if he's holding the flute, but flute is not there. Okay, this is the only temple where we have that. And then he goes, he cries again, he thanks God, and then he goes, calls the merchant. Merchant comes back, gives nice jewelry to decorate Radharaman. All right, so so apt, the kirtan was because we need to long, we need to tell Krishna or show Krishna how important is that desire for us. All right, how important is that desire to serve Him, serve the Lord? How important is it for us, right? Only then Krishna will, consider our request. Otherwise, it's difficult. Okay, because Krishna, it's very hard to impress Krishna. It's very hard because Krishna, if you go ask Krishna, I want money, he will give you. If you go ask Krishna, I want flat, he will give you. If you go ask Krishna, I want jewelry, he will give you. If you go ask Krishna, I want car, he will give you. Whatever you ask materially, he will give you instantly. because Lakshmi Devi is his wife. He will give you instantly. But if you go ask Krishna, I want to serve you with devotion, pure devotion, he will say, no, 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 no. Why? Because he knows he gets purchased by devotees, right? That's why he never offers devotional service that easily. So Krishna says, devotional service I cannot give. You approach through my, disciples, to my devotees. That's why we need to offer worship to acharyas. They are the ones who is going to take us to Krishna. So under the instruction of Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Gopal Bhat Goswami installed this deity Radharaman, and today also we worship in Vrindavan Radharaman deity. All right. There is no Radha. This is the only temple where there is no Radha accompanying Krishna. Everywhere else there is Radha accompanying. All right. And that's why there's no flute also. There's a very nice story also behind it. So it seems that Krishna was looking at Radha, okay, in Vrindavan. Radha was so beautiful, and that he was playing the flute. He stopped playing the flute because he was carried away by the beauty of Radha, and he was more and more carried away, and he dropped the flute. He dropped the flute down, and he's still holding. Without his knowledge, he dropped the flute down, but his the posture is still there, the same. He's thinking that flute is still there in his hand. Okay, that form is Radharaman's form. That's why he does not have flute in his hand, and there is no Radha also because he is looking at Radha. Radha is not accompanying him. All right. And when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, so Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So when he started writing Chaitanya Charitamrita, he also took obeisance. I mean, he also paid obeisances to Gopal Bhat Goswami to write, the book. Took his blessings. But Gopal Bhat Goswami did not want him to reveal this information anywhere. So it does not reveal this in that particular book. Okay, these details we get from other scriptures. And then, therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions Gopal Bhat Goswami in a very limited, way in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then, Jiva Goswami, written in the beginning of Tattva Sandarbha, a devotee from southern India. So here, Jiva Goswami is describing Gopal Bhat Goswami. All right, a devotee from southern India, born of Brahmana family, and is a very intimate friend of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, has written a book, and that he is not compiled chronologically. Therefore, I, a tiny living entity known as Jiva Goswami, I'm trying to assort the events of that book chronologically, consulting the direction of great personalities like Madhvacharya, Sridhar Swami, Ramanujacharya, and other senior Vaishnavis of the disciplic succession. Okay. In the beginning of Bhagavat Sandarbha, there are similar statements by Jiva Goswami. So he wrote so many books, Gopal Bhat Goswami. So Kriyasara Deepika, edited the Hari Bhakti Vilasa. Hari Bhakti Vilasa was written by Sanatan Goswami. Gopal Bhat Goswami edited it. Okay, wrote a foreword to the Sat Sandarbha. Okay, Sat Sandarbha is again written by Jiva Goswami. All right, a commentary. He wrote commentary on Krishna Karnamrita. Okay, and all the samskaras in the Samskara Deepika are written by Gopal Bhat Goswami. In Gaura Gunodesha Deepika, it is mentioned that Gopal Bhat Goswami is Ananga Manjari. Okay, again, so in her eternal position, she is Ananga Manjari in Golok Vrindavan. She comes down in the form of Gopal Bhat Goswami. Sometimes he is also said to have been an incarnation of Guna Manjari also. Okay, these are very, very confidential details. That's why we don't get the right information. Okay, we are not qualified, first of all, to know all this. And these scriptures are hidden deep. Goro Gunodesha Deepika, it's so hidden. It's not like other scriptures where we read every day, right? Like Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita or anything as such. Because these are too confidential for us to understand. All right. And then disciples. So Gopal Bhat Goswami has two disciples, Srinivas Acharya and Gopinath Pujari. All right. So this is about Gopal Bhat Goswami. Since we have more time, we will also learn about Ragunath Dasa Goswami. So Ragunath Dasa Goswami is the next Goswami that we will be learning about, fifth Goswami. Okay. Anybody knows anything that one famous incident that happens with Ragunath Das Goswami? It's a festival also we just celebrated. Who knows? We celebrate a festival. Yes, Vanaja Mataji.
Festival.
Which one?
Panihati festival.
Yes, Panihati Chidda Dahi, right? So that is the festival we celebrate. We will be learning about that in detail today. So Panihati Chidda Dahi is something that we celebrated, got over. So that was actually a punishment given to Raghunath Das Goswami. Because, yeah, we will see all that. Nityananda Prabhu punishes Raghunath Das Goswami and says, this is the punishment. You need to celebrate a festival. You need to prepare feast, offer it to the Lord, and then offer it to all the devotees. Sweet punishment it is. Right? Yeah. So Raghunath Das Goswami was born in a very, very highly aristocratic family. All right, highly aristocratic. Parents are very, very rich. At the same time, they don't encourage Raghunath Das Goswami in devotion service. See, this is the mistake modern parents do. This mistake even Raghunath Das Goswami's parents have done. Okay, we need to encourage children or bring them up in Krishna conscious manner. In fact, it is said in our Vaishnava cult that marriage is allowed. Okay, marriage is allowed only and only if the purpose of marriage is to raise Krishna conscious children. If you want to give birth to children and not make them Krishna conscious, it is as good as not getting married and not giving birth to children. All right, so that's why that is the main condition. We have to, by somehow or the other, bring our children into Krishna consciousness. Okay, if they are not willing, say they are all grown up, they are not willing, they are not listening to you, then you need to give them Ajnata Sukriti by mixing them, mixing prasadam in their food. All right, not knowing, don't tell them that it's prasadam, just tell them it's food, but you mix prasadam in it. Okay, or if you because you are elderly, you can chant, you can do kirtan, and let your children, just listen to it sometimes. Some 5 minutes a day at least, let them listen to the kirtan. So this way, what happens? You can just give them Ajnata Sukriti, and one more important way is you can chant for them after you finish your regular number of rounds. Okay, after you finish your regular chanting, you need to devote one round, or at least it's one round, but usually we chant 4 rounds for such people who are not willing to come into Krishna consciousness. All right, we chant 4 rounds every day, asking Krishna to bring them into Krishna consciousness as soon as possible. All right. Yeah. So here, Das Goswami was just a little boy engaged in studies, and when he had the darshan of Haridas Thakur. Okay, Haridas Thakur is Brahma himself, Namacharya. Okay, and Haridas Thakur was so merciful to him that this mercy was the reason that he later was able to attain the company of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. It's only by Guru's mercy we get Krishna. With Haridas Thakur's mercy, Raghunath Das Goswami got Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's service. Raghunath Das Goswami had been attempting to come to the lotus of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for a long time. Yes, like he kept on, trying to go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and become his devotee, like become his servant ever. But then what happened? Finally, he left his home. He could not, okay, because of the obligations. I already told you, family obligations. So what happened? One day he made up his mind. He left his house and he ran to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and surrendered. All right. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that time was in Shantipur. All right. And from Shantipur, he was going to Vrindavan. That was the time when Raghunath Das Goswami met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, fell to his feet, surrendered to him, and he wanted to devote his entire life to the service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. All right. And Raghunath Das Goswami at the same time, he was very intelligent, highly intelligent. He used to solve cases, legal cases. Okay, he was very intelligent. So what happened? A Muslim official became very envious of Hiranya Das. Hiranya Das is Raghunath Das Goswami's uncle. Okay, and he was falsely making allegations on Hiranya Das, this Muslim person. All right, and this had to be solved. Raghunath Das Goswami, takes the call here, and solves with his intelligence. He solves the problem and proves Hiranya Das to be innocent here. Okay, all the misunderstanding was mitigated. So Raghunath Das Goswami was, like we already said, he directly goes and surrenders to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? But ideally, it is Nityananda Prabhu who is supposed to take us to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is who? Guru Tattva. Only through Guru we can reach Krishna, right? So Guru Tattva is Nityananda Prabhu. If you don't surrender to Nityananda Prabhu first, and if you directly go and approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is wrong. Okay, because it's through Guru we are supposed to approach Krishna all the time. So Nityananda Prabhu gets to know this, that Raghunath Das Goswami has directly gone and fell to the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu calls him Raghunath Das Goswami and then punishes him. Like you see in the picture, he places his foot on the head of Raghunath Das Goswami. It's actually pampering in disguise. Because when gurus, whether they scold us, whether they hurt us, whatever they do, it is all to be taken as blessings, right? So when Nityananda Prabhu is keeping his feet on the head of Raghunath Das Goswami, it's actually to be considered as blessing. Outwardly, it looks like punishment, violence, or anything as such, but it's actually blessing. Nityananda Prabhu questions Raghunath Das Goswami, how dare you go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and surrender yourself without me? You need to go meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through me, not directly, right? So he lectures and he makes Raghunath Das Goswami understand the importance of Guru Tattva, the Guru. All right, and after that, Raghunath Das Goswami understands, and then he says sorry. He apologizes, and then says, "What can I? How do I wash this sin away?" Right, and then Nityananda Prabhu says, "It's very easy, very easy. What do you have to do? You have to offer feast. You need to hold feast, grand feast, and feed everybody in the city. Everybody in the city. All right." So it's actually a very nice punishment that he gets. If Nityananda Prabhu says this is the punishment, this is what you have to pay for. But then it's not punishment, right? Because he's offering Krishna Prasadam to everybody, and we are celebrating it as festival today, right? And that is about Panihati Chittadahi festival. And then so Raghunath Das Goswami, like we already saw the continuity, he left the family, right, to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what happens? He attains Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's shelter, and with the help of his priest, whose name is Yadunanandana Acharya. Okay, he goes. What do you say? He left his house, right? So he needs to safely make sure his parents don't found out where he is, right? So he takes the shelter of Yadunandana Acharya, and then he wants to go to Puri. Okay, so when he goes to Puri, he does not take the direct route like everybody else takes. He takes another route, the inside route, and then reaches Puri. Okay, and after 12 days, so 12 days he travels and then he reaches Puri, and there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there in Puri, right? So he starts serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there, and what happens? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then hands over Raghunath Das Goswami's responsibility to Swarup Damodar. Okay, so Swarup Damodar is Lalita Sakhi. We just read in the Kirtan, Lalita Vishakadi. So Lalita Vishaka Sakhis are the primary Sakhis. They are the leader of all the Sakhis in Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan. And such Lalita Sakhi has come down in the form of Swarup Damodar in Chaitanya Lila. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, from today, Raghunath Das Goswami's responsibility will be handed over to you. That is Swarup Damodar. From that day, Raghunath Das Goswami's name is also known as Swarupera Raghu or Ragunatha of Swarup Damodar. Okay. And so Raghunath Das Goswami is a symbol of austerity. Okay, he's a symbol, he's an epitome of austerity. So what happens is every 5 days Raghunath Das Goswami took prasadam at the temple, but later he would stand at Simhadwar gate and eat only whatever he could gather by alms. Can you imagine? 5 days once he used to go and eat nice palatable prasadam, but remaining days he used to eat He used to rely on alms, right? So food is the main cause of desires. No, the desires that we have. Some people say, I'm chanting, I'm doing everything, but I get bad desires in my mind. Why? Because of the food that we eat. Sattvic diet needs to be there. Okay. Why did Raghunath Das Goswami? He could have gone to the temple and had palatable prasadam every day, no? Why didn't he do that? Because even if it is prasadam, okay, even if it is prasadam, food directly impacts our thought or our belief system. All right. Simple food is always recommended and do not overeat. In fact, what is actually ideally recommended is we need to just have 2 meals a day, not 3. All right. And yeah, so that's why Raghunath Das Goswami begs alms and, eats them. How he used to eat rejected food, spoiled food, rejected food. He used to go take those grains, wash them, and consume them. Can you imagine? Can you even imagine? He used to take the grains rejected by others, food grains, rice, or whatever, cooked food, wash them and eat them. It might be spoiled, it might be anything or spilt, right? He used to take such food and eat from chatras, right? From chatras or food distribution centers, the leftover food. So that's why it is said he is the epitome of austerity. All right. Mm. And then Raghunath Das Goswami's father gets to know all this. All this is happening. All right. And then he sends people giving them money to bring back his son. But then his son, his father tries to allure his son with money. He says, "I'll give you so much money, you come back home." But then Raghunath Das Goswami has gone to a transcendental state. He's transcendental to all this money and position and everything, right? He rejects outright. And then he stays there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once accidentally, not accidentally, he wants to, right? He first he gives them he goes and tries to take the rejected food that Raghunath Das Goswami every day used to eat. One day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, "I will eat today. You give me." But then forcefully Raghunath Das Goswami said, "No, no, it's my renunciation. You are Krishna himself, right? It's my renunciation, and I'm going to do it, right?" And yeah, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also gifts Raghunath Das Goswami Gunjamala. Okay, that is a mala made from shells, shankas, we say, no, shells in the shore of the sea. And then he also gifted him a stone from Govardhan Hill. Right? One small stone is also a devotee of Krishna in Govardhan. That's why we are not allowed to touch Govardhan stones. All right. Yeah, so Raghunath Das Goswami was so very attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that as soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world, as soon as he winded up his pastimes, Raghunath Das Goswami also left this world. All right. However, he went to Vrindavan. He did a lot of service after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world. He went to Vrindavan. He and he served and everything. But then that separation, intense separation, he went and he jumped off, the Govardhan Hill. He jumped off the Govardhan Hill. All right, and Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami affectionately received him, guided him. So basically, here one thing we understand: all the Goswamis, okay, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami are actually supporting all the other Goswamis, supporting them, giving them care, telling them, giving them instructions, what to do, what not to do, how to do things, right? So out of these two, again, Rupa Goswami is the predominant out of Sanatan Goswami and Rupa Goswami. Okay, so then Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Goswami convinces Raghunath Das Goswami that he needs to live long. Okay, he cannot go and give up his life like that. He needs to live long and serve the Vaishnavas, illuminate the Vaishnava cult. All right. So that's why he offers service and then he gives up his body. So this is the daily routine of Raghunath Das Goswami. What all he used to do? He used to wake up and chant 64 rounds. Okay, 64 rounds. That is 1 lakh um, names of the Lord, holy names of the Lord, and then doing Manasa Seva in his spiritual body. So elaborate deity worship. The Goswamis will not have the facility of huge altar, rich jewelry, everything, right, to offer to the Lord. So in that case, they usually do Manasa Puja, as in we close our eyes and we meditate. Suppose you want to do Abhishekam to the Lord, all right, but you are somewhere else, you are in office or you are traveling. So what do? You close your eyes and you imagine or you visualize yourself offering Abhishekam to the Lord, the deity that you have at home. You visualize, clearly you visualize. That is Manasa Puja. All right. So he used to do Manasa Puja, and then he used to worship Govardhan Shila, and then he used to bathe thrice in Radha Kund. Radha Kund, forget about thrice. Once in your lifetime, if you bathe in Radha Kund, you get Krishna Prem instantly. Instantly, the Krishna Prem that you have, the love for the Lord, instantly gets awakened, and you become pure devotee. Pure devotee. That is the power of Radha Kund. Okay, that's why if you are not initiated or if you don't have any order from your spiritual master, you are not supposed to take part in Radha Kund, because that much of intense Krishna Prem we are not able to handle. We are not ready for it. We will not be able to handle. Okay, and then he used to offer 1,000 obeisances to Krishna. Can you imagine? Can you imagine 1,000 obeisances every single day he used to offer to Krishna? Obeisances is what? Dhanvat pranam. You fall down completely flat, okay, and then you wake up, okay, get up, stand, again you fall down, again get up, stand, fall down, like that 1,000 times. Can you imagine? Can you imagine with what? With rejected, just living on the rejected food, buttermilk, okay, 1 leaf cup of buttermilk, living on rejected food. That's all his food intake would be, and he used to do so much of hard work, right? And then he offering 2,000 to Vaishnavas and embracing them, all right, and resting 90 minutes, and some days not at all. So usually he used to rest only for 90 minutes. Okay, so otherwise sometimes he used to not rest only. Yeah, so when he read Lalita Madhav play, he was very submerged. So Lalita Madhav is a play, okay? So he was you know reading it or watching it, and then he instantly submerged in the separation of submerged in the ocean of separation, okay, with the Lord. And this is Vipralamba Bhav that is coming to picture here. All right. And then when Rupa saw Raghunath Das Goswami's responses to his play, he wrote Danakeli Kaumudi, which is full of humor and amazing amusing banter. Okay, he give this book to Raghunath Das Goswami and took back his copy of Lalita Madhav. When Raghunath Das Goswami read Danakeli Kaumudi, he forgot his feelings of separation, because it's a comedy book, because he was crying and he was intensely undergoing separation. That's why Rupa Goswami made this idea of writing a comic book for him. All right, and so Raghunath Das Goswami usually used to sit under a tree and get absorbed in bhajan. He used to sing a lot. Okay, and 2 tigers came to the Radha Kund, and after drinking some water, saunter off. Sanatan Goswami was startled to see this, but even more so when he saw Sri Krishna standing at some distance observing everything. He then requested Raghunath Das Goswami to do his bhajan within a hut. On another occasion, Raghunath Das Goswami still hadn't bothered to have a kutir constructed. Was sitting down in the sun, absorbed in his bhajan. Srimati Radharani happened to pass on the way at this time, and she understood him and held held the end of her sati to shield him from the sun rays. Can you imagine the pallu that she has, no, the dress, the dupatta She used to go and hold and guard Raghunath Das Goswami from the hot sun or from the climatic conditions, because Raghunath Das Goswami um, uh, was so busy in offering devotional service, he did not get a chance to construct a kutir for himself. All right. So this is the service of Radharani. Radharani is always open to serve the devotees of the Lord and recommend them to Krishna. She recommends, yeah, this devotee is doing well. Whether Krishna never verifies. Krishna says, okay, you are saying no, okay, however fallen that devotee is, I will take him. And he takes them to Goloka. Right? So that is the position of Radharani. Everybody listens to Krishna, but Krishna listens to Radharani. Can you imagine? Right? And yeah. And then finally he got a kutir also, and from that time Raghunath Das Goswami was asked to do kutir, bhajan in his kutir. Okay, and now these are very nice things. I'll take probably 5 to 10 minutes more. So once what happened, he was suffering from indigestion. All right, and because of eating rice and milk, because of eating rice and milk, he's got indigestion. Okay, now the diagnosis in itself is very astonished. I mean, if you eat rice and milk, who gets indigestion? In fact, it's very light, right? Rice and milk is a light food, and it's definitely impossible. So this man never eats anything but whey, the buttermilk. He does not even eat rice and sugar rice and milk in the first place. All he eats is whey, right? The buttermilk part of it. Then yeah. So he says that he had indeed eaten milk and rice during the pastimes. When such great acharyas meditate, no, they actually get to see what is happening in Golok Vrindavan, live stream from what is happening in Golok Vrindavan. Such acharyas. So now he is saying, I might not have eaten rice and milk over here, but certainly it's happening. I'm able to see it in my meditation. That means in Golok Vrindavan, he's actually eating it. All right, it's very nice. Once we become elevated, NAD Prabhuji always says this. Once we become elevated, what happens? Spiritual TV opens, and what happens on that TV in your heart? Live stream from Golok Vrindavan. All the pastimes that Krishna is performing in Golok Vrindavan, eternally in this moment, it live streams, and you will be able to see it through your heart. Okay, that is called Cheto Darpana Marjanam. All right, we clean our heart to an extent where we get to see Krishna in it. Okay, these analogies are wonderful. All right, and Raghunath Das Goswami never liked to hear the news about some devotee having fall down or having stopped his spiritual life. Okay, he used to never like to hear such news. All right. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote in Chaitanya Charitamrita from the notes that he had gathered about from Raghunath Das Goswami, who had all the information from Swarup Damodar. Right. So Chaitanya Charitamrita was compiled based on these notes. From here and there he collected. So one such bit was also collected by Raghunath Das Goswami, which he had collected from Swarup Damodar. Okay. So, who is Raghunath Das Goswami now? Rati Manjari. So, all Goswamis are Manjaris from Golok Vrindavan. Okay, they have come in the form of humans, the two male humans as Goswamis, to lead us back into Golok Vrindavan. All right, and his Samadhi is at Radha Kund and 64 Samadhis area. Okay. Next class, we will be learning about Raghunath Bhat Goswami. Okay. Any questions? Anybody? Who has questions? Okay. So before you all leave, I will share the attendance link with you all. Please fill up the attendance. All right. Any questions? No other questions? Okay, if you have no questions, we can end the session. Please fill up your attendance. The link is being posted. Okay, hope you all filled up, marked your attendance. Any questions? No questions? You've understood everything? Okay, we can end. Vancha kalpadrubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnavind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Yes, Hare Krishna. Any questions? Okay. Then we can